Hey, just giving an update. Love growing cannabis, obviously, but all plants are just so cool. So we got some other cool plants going on. Just wanted to show you a few things in our veggie flower garden, and also some not challenges, but things that can happen as well. So just gonna show you real quick some cool stuff. If people are into gardening or want to get into gardening, it's so cool. I think gardening is medicine just as a lifestyle. It's medicine, and it's kind of hardwired into our genetics to sort of farm and take care of plants and work with plants. And yeah, if you really think about it and think how interrelated humans are with plants, just even clothes. This is cotton. We're wearing plants, we're eating plants, we're using plants constantly within our life for different things, sometimes that we forget about. Anyway, enough of that. Just wanted to show you some cool things going on. By the way, if you're not familiar with this plant, rose geranium, it needs a little food, but man, rose geranium has just one of the best smells, I think, that really wakens you up and stimulates you. But wanted to show you some cool stuff if folks are thinking about garden ideas. Here in California, right here we've got passion fruit. So in passion fruit, the vines actually do really well here in Santa Cruz. So a lot of people think you can only grow passion fruit in like Hawaii or in the tropics, but actually in Mediterranean climate they grow really well. And you can put them on arbors and stuff too for shade, and then you'll have passion fruit dangling down. Beautiful way to start your morning with some passion fruit and yogurt. Anyway, enough of that. Okay, let's move on to some cool stuff. We also have a bunch of tomatoes here in Santa Cruz. We grow early girls, tend to do really well. So a lot of tomatoes finally coming in. It's kind of a bummer in California. We don't get tomatoes till like fall a lot of times. It's not like the Midwest where you're eating them on 4th of July. But anyway, yes, we're getting nice red tomatoes. But what's going on is you look around, and here's, I don't even know, what is this, a butternut?
Yeah.
Squash?
Yep.
So we got a bunch of squash, but we're seeing nitrogen deficiencies going on because I need to keep feeding these, and I'll explain something about hugelkultur. So these are like hugelkultur. It's soil mixed with wood chips, and we just created these boxes this year. So the first 1 or 2 years, if you actually mix wood chips into the soil, which long term is really great because they'll break down, you'll get mycelium running all through your soil. But as those wood chips break down, they do what's called robbing nitrogen. So they will take nitrogen out of the soil for that breakdown process, which then takes this nitrogen away from your plants. Once they get through that stage, like the first year or two, then it will become super rich and they won't do that. So your brand new hugel type beds, so if you mix wood chips into the soil, like down into the soil, just know you're going to have to keep feeding some sort of nitrogen. I like bloodmeal and feathermeal because you will have a nitrogen robbing thing. Now, if you have really nice, already great soil and you put wood chips on the top just as a mulch layer, you're not going to have that nitrogen issue. And so we just one of these things when you're breaking in your new hugelkultur beds, just be aware the first year or two, the nitrogen's going to get robbed a little bit, so you have to supplement with nitrogen. We fell behind a little bit on this, so we're getting some, everything's not as green as we'd love to see it, and I'll probably add something within the next few days, but only so many minutes a day, in a day. Now I wanted to show you really cool peppers, and to tell you the truth, I don't even know what these are. Labeled them, and of course, here's my friggin' label. Every once in a while I get a Sharpie that has like disappearing ink, and the sun hits the ink and then it disappears. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to decode. Here's my nice label. The ink disappeared. So I can figure out, I can do forensic research and figure out what these are, but look at these beautiful peppers. I don't know what they are. I don't know if they're hot peppers, sweet peppers. I guess I could eat one, and if I blow my mouth off, then I guess I know
These purple ones, try one of
and
those.
these purple ones, I do know these are hot. These are really hot, and they're really beautiful. And again, these could have been, you know, more robust. This is a brand new hugelkultur bed. So it's got some of that nitrogen robbing thing going on. Here's something I'm very excited about. These are habanada. So these are habaneros, but somebody bred out the super spiciness. So you'll get all the habanero flavor, like that really beautiful, vibrant hot pepper flavor or habanero flavor without the insane heat. So you can actually enjoy the flavor without injuring yourself, which is cool. We got tomatillos going on. This was a new bed again, a little nitrogen robbing going on. We got some other cool peppers. Don't even know what these are. I'll have to look those up. I do know these are jalapenos. So here's some more of those. We got poblano peppers for chile relleno. Yay. Here's a very cool Peruvian torch cactus that someone very cool gave to me. And we'll find a home for that so that can get big. Now, over here, these are delicata squash. So they're pretty much done making their squash. And by the way, we've already been eating those. Delicious. But yeah, same sort of nitrogen robbing situation. But they're also fading because they're pretty much done pumping out. Or actually, no.
You know, I noticed that there's this new growth, and even the new growth is kind of a better green.
Yeah, you know what? This weekend, we're going to add some more nitrogen, maybe be able to pump these out. But yeah, look at these beautiful delicatas. And by the way, what's cool is getting them up off the soil also helps make sure varmints don't get them. We got some nice melons going on here, which maybe with this heat wave, they might actually sweeten up. We're having some issues where they just weren't getting sweet. This mild coastal weather, they don't get quite as sweet here. Oh, shishito peppers. I absolutely love the shishitos. So I don't know if you guys know about shishito peppers, but it's like a mild pepper, but then you sear them with some olive oil and salt, a little lemon, and some, what is it, Parmigiano cheese?
No, I don't put that on that. Those are just lemon and salt. We do that with the Nardellos.
Oh, and then Jimmy
But we
Nardellos.
put Manchego, the Spanish.
Yeah, Manchego cheese is really good with these. But here's Jimmy Nardellos. They're starting to come in. They'll turn red, but they're a really good sweet sort of pan saute pepper as well. And then let's come over here and check out. And yeah, this garden's a bit in disarray. And again, we've got the nitrogen robbing going on. And unfortunately, the cannabis is queen. So that takes all my attention. But we also have these trombolini squash. These were pretty prolific this year. And then, oh, here's a nice one. Here's a nice visual picture of Trixie, our little weirdo rescue dog, who finally likes me.
She loves you the most.
It took a year. She screamed like she was being murdered every time I tried to touch her for the first year. But now we're buddies. You get that scratch or itch. All right, I want to show you another very cool plant that totally stoked on. We've been eating tons of these. These are Thai long beans. But by the way, these are really heavy nitrogen.
Chinese red bean.
Okay, anyway. So, all right, we'll look it up. Anyway, they come from the Asian continent, somewhere in there. And they're very cool, but I like them more than like a standard green bean. And for cooking, they stay really crisp. And then when you chew them, your teeth squeak. They're really cool and fun. These, yeah, sorry, y'all. Anyway, these I think sucked up all the nitrogen that was left. So anyway, just gonna keep saying that is, yeah, when you do, so hugelkultur beds, and this is like a hybrid hugel. We didn't bury logs and such. We just threw wood chips in with the soil, but then that starts breaking down, the mycelium goes. But for the first year, you know, you have to break them in over like 2 years, and you are going to have some nitrogen deficiency issues unless you keep adding some sort of nitrogen. Again, bloodmeal, feathermeal, or just a balanced organic, natural amendment is good for that. Or you can get into jadam and all the other really cool stuff, and we're going to start exploring that as well in our cannabis garden next year too. Anyway, I just wanted to share kind of things like this, and people who are interested in, I call this like a hugelkultur hybrid. So it's actually a lot of our old Fox Farm, Ocean Forest cannabis soil that we do things in pots, like our nursery or breeding projects, and then we mix that with wood chips, and then also compost and other manure. We have horse manure close by too that tests out really clean. That's another story. Yeah, so anyway, just know the first year or two though, you may think they're not working or they're underperforming, but that's because those wood chips are breaking down, taking the nitrogen. But then after 2 years, you've got really living, beautiful, regenerative soil that you just keep feeding. But then there's other really cool stuff that we're going to be getting into with making the jadam. I know a lot of people use comfree as their source for that, for green manure, and then making teas and such out of that. So we're going to be diving deep into that over the next few years, and now have some friends who are going to help out with that, who have a lot more experience with that. So yeah, getting hippy dippy, all natural, web of life. Okay, anyway, peace.